Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking. It's Sunday, so we're gonna do a little mower maintenance because we got a pretty busy week coming up for cutting. We have, I think, most of our property, so we probably have about 35 lawns, and some of them are pretty big. So luckily the temperature has gone way down today. I think it's somewhere around 80. It's beautiful. We had some storms last night because I'll tell you, yesterday, even trying to work in the shop, it was brutal. It was just way too hot. So today we're gonna do some mower maintenance. We're gonna start out with the Hustler. This is the FASTRACK SDX. This one's pretty new, so it doesn't have a whole lot of hours on it. We've already did the initial oil change on it, but we're gonna do a maintenance. I think it has, let's take a look and see. I think it has I got about 60 hours on it, so she's ready, because I think we did the first one at like 8 hours or something. So we're going to do the oil on this one. Obviously, we'll check out the air cleaner. This is the newer, this is the FX 730, so this one has the big air cleaner on it, which is, I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it? Yeah. So it has a different element in there. It has like a dual filter element. So we'll check that out, and I'm pretty sure the blades are gonna need a little touch up, so we're gonna lift it up. We'll do the blades, we'll scrape the deck, everybody's favorite job, and we'll get them sharpened up, and I'll show you what we got. So this is the Hustler, like I said. This is the FASTRACK, the SDX. It's the 60-inch deck. Pretty cool machine. And like I said, this one has the FX 730, which I think the only difference really is the air cleaner element. Comes with the heavier duty air cleaner there, which I'm sure, like, especially in the dry season, and I'm sure in the fall when we're doing a lot of leaf cleanups, that'll be a big difference, because the other machine definitely gets pretty dirty. So let's have at it. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do on oil change day is we wanna warm up the engine, because changing the oil when the oil is warm is a much better deal. Let's see, on this new machine, no hose on this one. They have a oil drain port here, which is really nice actually, because they put a hole in the frame. And there's let me see if you can see it. There's like a downspout. Sorry, it's not really camera friendly. There's a little downspout, so you twist this right here, and the oil comes out of this thing right here. It's almost like a tap. It's a really cool setup, actually. This is a 10mm wrench. You just put this 10mm on there, you loosen it up, oil comes out. Really great setup. So I don't know if it was Kawasaki that did that or if that's a Hustler design, but whoever did it, it's a really good design, because the hose works pretty good, but sometimes you got to put two big wrenches on it and it's a little awkward, and it's good. In other machines, they put the oil drain spout where it goes onto the frame, and the oil goes underneath the engine and the frame. It just makes a freaking mess. I don't know why it's so complicated. So props to whoever did this one. They did a really good job. So let's get this oil drained out, and then we'll get our filter going, and we'll go from there. All right, let's see if we can get in here. Let's get the drain pan underneath in the right spot, because that will help. If I can get over here. That, yeah, nice and easy. Just unscrew this tap. There it goes. All right. Once you get the oil going too, then you can grab the dipstick, unscrew that, and then the oil will flow out a little faster too if it gets a little airflow through there. So we're gonna let that drain, and we're going to get the oil filter wrench. goes. This is what I use. You could use channel locks, but this thing works pretty good. It's easy to get in there. Nice wrench here. Let's see if we can get in. Every machine has a little different angle you got to use to get. They all kind of change up a little bit. This one is a little tricky to grab around the filter. And another thing is when you take the filter off, I believe this machine with that hole that they put in the frame really makes it nice because the oil actually drains out right through the hole. So good job on that design too, guys. Whoever did it, I don't really know, but whatever. Let's get that going. Boom, there you have it. Always make sure you have the little rubber gasket that comes off with the filter, and the gasket doesn't stick to the engine, because sometimes they do stick to the engine, and then when you put your new filter on, you don't want it to be stuck on there. All right, and here's what we're using. Now, I know there's a lot of controversy on this. People are really particular about what kind of oil and what kind of filters to use. I'll tell you what, this is what we use. Here's the wrench. This is it's a Chinese filter. I buy them in bulk. I think they come in a box of like 12. They're pretty cheap, pretty comparable to the Sten's filters. And I use straight 1040. I don't use any synthetic oil. We don't use any AMS oil. Nothing crazy like that. Obviously, this is just my opinion, and you know, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but to me, the best kind of oil to use in your machines is clean oil. So if you change the oil in your machines frequently, you don't have to worry about spending a fortune on that kind of stuff. We have a lot of machines. We run these things constantly, so you know, we're changing oil a lot, all the time. We try to do every 50 to 75 hours on these commercial machines, you know. So with that being said, we've had very good luck using these aftermarket filters and the cheapest oil we can pretty much find on Amazon. It works for us. We've had no problem, and we get really long life out of pretty much all of our machines. So I will put the link to all of those products in the description down below if you want to check them out. Brings you right over to the site where you can get them directly. But let's get back to this oil change. All right, so now that we got out of there, I used to take a paper towel, clean paper towel, and I just wipe off the edge there, make sure there's no gasket stuck where the oil filter goes. Clean that little drip spot up there, and then we'll get the new filter on. All right, so let's prep our filter. Comes with a nice little plastic cover, keeps things clean. The gaskets are good, and I know, like, especially on some of the cheaper filters, because they're like, oh, the gaskets fall off thing. These are great. Like I said, I've had great luck with them. I just take some new oil, put it on the gasket. You're good to go there. Wipe off the excess, and now this filter is ready to go. You do not have to put oil in the filter. People like to do that. I don't know why. It just makes a mess. It's not necessary, and the oil gets pumped in there pretty fast. So let's get this on the machine. All right, so I cleaned up the area where the oil filter goes. Like I said, got the oil on there. It's ready to go on. When you put your filter on, you know, be patient. It should spin on like effortlessly. There should be no drag, nothing like that going on. And some kind of bug. I always use a rag and I just hand tighten the filter as tight as I can tighten it by hand, and that's how I do it. They do have special wrenches that you can put on there, but I don't find it necessary to over tighten your filter. You can always check it after some use just to make sure that it didn't loosen up. But now that we got that on there, we're gonna grab our 10mm because it's finished draining, and we're gonna tighten up the drain. Let's see, you can do it by hand most of the way. Again, snug it, don't over tighten it. Most of the time you try to over tighten stuff, you just break it or you strip it, and there's really just, you know, use your discretion on that. But I did unplug this wire. Put that back in before we forget. All right. All right, and we got that all, we got our filter on, we got that. This is what I use, so these Kawasaki's usually take about 1 3/4 quarts, not quite 2 quarts, but pretty close to it. That's like 4 of these. I use this little funnel, makes things easier. And if you do pour it in too fast, sometimes it backs up in the tube and you'll overspill it and make a mess, so try to avoid that. Going on. One. I use this because it measures it out easier and I know where I'm at. Unless you buy it in quarts, then it's easy to figure out. And I poured it in too fast and it overflowed. Just what I told you not to do. All right, so I put in my 1 3/4. Just check oil here. Kawasaki engines all tell you right on the dipstick, which is pretty cool because it tells you do not screw it in when you go to check it. So you just put it in. They're all different. The Briggs & Stratton, I think you screw in, like the Hondas you screw in. But Kawasaki actually writes it on there, which is really nice. So you just pop it in, you check it out. Now, we're pretty good right there. Obviously, we're gonna run it and we'll check it again after because then the oil will get through the filter and stuff. So, but that's good. We have the oil in, we have the filter tightened. Next, we're gonna check out the air cleaner. All right, so now let's open up the air cleaner. See what she looks like. Should be pretty good because it's pretty new. This should have a dual filament. An inner, yeah, it has an inner and an outer filament. You just push in there. We will clean that off a little bit, but it's probably pretty, the inside one is usually pretty good. You grab there. That. Wear glasses. There's some dust in there. Not too bad. That one's pretty clean. We'll blow this out, but I don't think there's anything on this one. That's good. Can try not to blow into the intake, but around it. There's sleeves there, you can blow that out. Get my fat head in the way, sorry. Put that in, and then it just slides right back in. Put that one there. The cap, we could wipe it out with a rag. It's not too bad, but there's a little dust in there, so might as well clean it out. Looks good. Vent, put this back on here. There, sure. Clip it right back on. And there you go. Air cleaner's good, oil's good, air's good. So now we're gonna move on over to the blades. So we're gonna move the camera, we'll get this thing jacked up, and we'll get the blades off. All right, now we're gonna pop the blade off. These are 15/16. You check the size first. All right, now for everybody's favorite part. That's me being sarcastic. Would be scraping the grass off the bottom of the deck. I don't know. Maybe some people find this satisfying. I don't, but it's got to be done. So it's much easier to do when the blades are off the machine. So now is a great opportunity, and it's up in the air. Let's get that cleaned up. Some bolts. It's actually not too bad considering we've had a lot of rain because we get wet grass. It really sticks in here. It makes a mess. Okay, here's our blades. These are OEM blades. They're actually kind of a high lift blade for a regular cutting season. This isn't a blade video, but we will get into it. So high lift means this thing here sticks up and it creates suction. Usually anything over 3/4 of an inch high is considered a high lift blade. So when you have like really heavy wet grass, or you have grass that hasn't been cut in a while, high lift blades are not the best because they take a little more power from the machine, and they can slow you down a little bit. So, if you're using a bagger or something like that, the high lift blades are great, or the mulching blades, but we're not going to get into blades today. So let's go get these sharpened and get them back on the machine. All right, this is how I like to do it. I use a 4-inch grinder with a stone on it. I do have a bench grinder. I like to do this because I have this little vise on this cart. I could roll it outside. And the bench grinder, the metal grindings get everywhere. So this works pretty good. You get a good angle on it, and this is how we do it anyway. Okay, there you have it. They are sharpened up nice. We got a pretty good edge on them. Not brand new, but they're definitely gonna work for another week or two. Now let's get them back on the machine. All right, so there you go, folks. That is a quick service. You know, oil and blades. Don't need too much more on this because it doesn't have a lot of hours on it. So, you know, we did the air cleaner. We checked that out. Everything was pretty good there. We don't need to get into the fuel filter and all that kind of stuff. It's not ready for a hydro service yet. We just did the air and the tires. And the only grease fittings on this machine are actually on the front wheels. Let's see, I know it has them. Can't remember where they were. I think they're on the axle here. Where is it? There it is. So we have 2 grease fittings on the wheels. We'll hit those grease fittings. So that is it. Again, I will put the link in the description for all the products that we use. Whether you like them or you don't like them, they're in the description down there. And thank you so much for watching. Peace. Have a great day, guys.